Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Mikhail. I work in Web3, and through my role at Certic, which is a leading Web3 security firm, I come across a ton of different projects across the space. I want to mention that while I do work at Certic, the work I do on this channel is completely independent. This is where I share my personal insights into some of the more interesting things that are happening in the space. Now, most people associate Solana with meme coins, and they can be a lot of fun. But with that said, we are on the precipice, if not in the very beginning, of altcoin season, and it will become harder and harder to find real utility and just overall projects that are doing cool things. So that's where this video comes in. I want to introduce you to a project that, to me personally, feels like it's doing some really cool stuff on Solana, and it goes beyond Solana. It's also helping Bitcoin. So I'll teach you what they're building, how it works, whether it might be a good time to buy it. So let's jump right in. So the first thing that I want to show you is this post that came out a few days ago from Zeus Network. And it says, breaking, Solana can now validate Bitcoin transactions. So this is a pretty big milestone because this is the first Bitcoin transaction that is validated on top of Solana. So I want to go in a little bit more detail why this is such a significant event and what should we do about that. So I prepared this sheet to help us break down line by line what exactly is Zeus Network, what are they trying to solve for. That way, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you've been in the crypto space for a very long time, everybody can understand this. So to start things off, Zeus Network is a project that is built on top of Solana. And the main goal of this project is to bring Bitcoin and potentially Dogecoin into Solana. Fast, low cost, that's the goal. So think of it as a bridge that creates a version of Bitcoin called zBTC, which is faster and cheaper to use. And the reason why you would want this is because Solana is one of the fastest and most cost-effective blockchains out there. So this makes Bitcoin way more practical to use. And this problem exists for Bitcoin because Bitcoin traditionally is very slow, 7 transactions per second. And it's also very expensive during high traffic periods. It's limited in the functionality because Bitcoin in general does not support advanced apps like DeFi natively, and it's isolated, meaning it doesn't naturally connect to other blockchains. These problems make Bitcoin difficult to use for things like lending, borrowing, or just participating in DeFi on its own. So the reason why these problems exist boil down to the fact that Bitcoin is designed to be ultra secure and decentralized, which means it'll prioritize security over speed and flexibility. It doesn't support super complicated smart contracts, and it can't natively interact with applications and other blockchains. This is great for security, but it does limit its use in today's crypto world where we have all of these chains that are super fast and we're trying to become a lot more user friendly. So this whole notion that there's only so many things you could do with Bitcoin, right? When you hear about the gold to Bitcoin comparison, you always hear about the fact that, well, with gold, you can make a chain out of it, you can make a necklace. With Bitcoin, what can you really do with it? You can't do anything with it. Well, technically, that's not true as of right now. But what Zeus is doing, it will also help expand on those capabilities of Bitcoin. So what does Zeus do? So Zeus solves these problems by converting Bitcoin into a version called zBTC, which can operate on Solana. The process is permissionless and trustless, meaning it doesn't go through any kind of central custodians. There's no middleman to rely on here. So once you have zBTC, you can use it in the Solana ecosystem, whether it's for trading, lending, or other applications. And the cool thing is that zBTC is backed 1-to-1, so it'll retain its value as real Bitcoin. And that's where Apollo comes in. Apollo is a decentralized application within Zeus Network. And it's the key tool that makes all of this possible because it securely converts your Bitcoin into zBTC. So think of Apollo as the bridge between Bitcoin and Solana. So unlike centralized systems that require you to trust a custodian, Apollo is completely decentralized. You have full control of your funds. Now let's talk about the Zeus token. This is a token that is very important for securing the Zeus network because you have validators and guardians in the network where you stake Zeus to make sure that the transactions are processed securely and honestly. So the more people use Zeus network, the more demand there is for the Zeus token. So it's kind of like the fuel that keeps the entire system running. So with Zeus, you're going to be able to do a lot of cool things. You can lend your Bitcoin to earn interest on Solana's DeFi applications. You'll be able to borrow stable coins like USDC using zBTC as collateral. You'll be able to participate in liquidity pools to earn rewards. So unlike existing solutions like UBTC on Aave, Zeus eliminates the need for centralized custodians like BitGo. And this is not a knock on BitGo, but if decentralization is important to you, if you want to be able to self-custody, that's a big plus. So the real question is it a good time to buy Zeus? Now, that's going to depend on your risk tolerance and belief in this project. If you're bullish on Solana, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, if you're bullish on the use cases of Bitcoin on Solana, the good news is that Zeus Network is solving real problems. And the team is committed. They attend all of the major conferences. They do really good presentations. I connected with some of the team members, and they have a lot of respect from others within the Solana community. So those are the good things. But there is some risk here if you are looking at the chart. For full transparency, I do have a little bit of Zeus, and they are starting to gain a lot of traction, especially after the announcement that they were able to validate the first Bitcoin transaction. But I'm not a technical expert. I will say the relative strength index is pretty high. So what I would do is if you're planning on buying this, I would maybe wait for a little bit of consolidation that occurs to find an entry point if you feel like you want to have a little bit of exposure to Zeus. If you're new to crypto, I would say start with Solana. Do your own research, try to understand exactly who's behind the team. If you look at their website, their angel investor is Anatoly, who is the co-founder at Solana Labs. I mean, he is essentially the face of Solana, and they have pretty strong backing. Now, when you get projects that are heavily backed by VCs, you need to make sure that there's a very strong demand for what they are pitching to you, because otherwise there's a chance you might get dumped on. There's this whole notion about heavily VC-backed coins, and while the technology is great, it may not necessarily be the best for the retail user. And that's a big reason why I was waiting for this consolidation period down here before I started buying anything. Having said that, their market cap is relatively low. Not a big fan of the FDV to market cap ratio. However, if there's a strong use case here, there's still a lot of potential. Because if you look at another project, Stacks, which there's a lot of differences, but they're also trying to bring DeFi to Bitcoin. If you look at their market cap, 3.29 billion right now, ranked number 47. So you're looking at about a 40x. I'm not saying that they're going to replicate what Stacks is doing, but if they can do a quarter of that, I mean, is there an opportunity for a 10x? It's not a guarantee. There's a lot of things that they still have to prove. But at this point, they're already starting to prove what their thesis is, what they're trying to accomplish. So it's more than just words on paper. They're actually putting in the work. And that's what I like to see from projects outside of meme coins is I want to see real projects doing real things. And that's the other reason why I teamed up with Pulse. Whether you consider it to be Deepin or DeSci or RWA, you hear all these buzzwords. I don't really care so much for that. I care about what exactly are they doing to help people. And what they're focused on is getting people to be healthier. The big problem right now with Apple is that the technology is great, but they get to keep all that information. You are the product. They can take that information, they can sell it to third parties. They know so much information about you. But what if you had the opportunity to control what information is shared? And not only that, but you can be compensated for that. So think of this as Whoop, except you can actually get paid to be healthy. And so for me personally, I've had some personal issues over the summer with my wife, and I'm trying to get back into fitness, but I've got a bad shoulder. And so I told myself, I want to use Pulse One to help me stay on top of my goals. So you can order the Genesis Edition, Founder Edition. And this is another project, by the way, that is backed by Anatoly. I have not received mine yet, but look into it. If you like it and you want to be part of something like this, I do have a referral code in the description. Feel free to use that. And yeah, it's time to work on that fitness. Crypto is crypto. It will always be there, but your health, that's something that you should always prioritize. So there you have it, folks. I showed you two projects that have a lot going on right now, and they're both on Solana. So I feel like outside of meme coins, there's a lot of great use cases that are coming that just go beyond the hype buzzwords. And that's exactly what, if you're new to crypto, you should be looking for. DeFi will always be there. Health, it will always be important to everybody. So be careful not to chase all the buzzwords and focus on the things that you're passionate about. But do keep in mind that both of these projects, they're very early stage. There's a lot of risk involved with them. So if you're not sure, don't put any money into these that you're not willing to lose. I hope this video helps. If you found it insightful, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and comment down below. What are your thoughts on Zeus? And would you want to hop on this health journey with me? See you guys in the next video.